Picture this, it's 2021. Hertz, a company fresh out of bankruptcy, decides to place this massive, world-changing bet on the future of transportation. It was hailed as a genius move, right? A vision of an all-electric rental fleet that was going to redefine the whole company. But just 2 years later, that incredible vision unraveled into a nearly $500 million mistake. So how did a surefire win, a celebrated leap into the future, turn into a corporate disaster that sent shockwaves through the entire auto industry? Okay, let's dive into this. It all kicked off with this one staggering number, 100,000. That's how many Teslas Hertz announced it was buying back in October 2021. Now, this wasn't just another fleet order. This was a thunderous statement to the world. The company was basically shouting from the rooftops that it was back and it was going to lead the EV revolution. I mean, what a bold, ambitious move. It captured headlines everywhere and even helped send Tesla's stock soaring past $1 trillion. But the timeline of this dream just shows you how fast it all fell apart. I mean, look at the shockingly short fuse on this experiment. In October 2021, it's the deal of the century. You fast forward just 2 years to the end of 2023, and bam, the company is already taking a $250 million loss on its EV fleet. Then just 1 month later, in January 2024, they announce a fire sale, planning to dump 20,000 of the very cars they had so publicly celebrated. The whole dream unraveled in just over 2 years. And this is the final brutal price tag for that dream, $468 million. That's the direct, explicit loss tied to their EV fleet from write-downs and selling the cars at a massive loss. This isn't just some number on a balance sheet. It represents a colossal failure in strategy and execution. It's the cost of a failed experiment, and it's really the core of the mystery we're about to solve. Which, of course, brings us to the central question of this whole explainer. How does a move that Wall Street and the media were calling brilliant turn into a $500 million catastrophe so darn quickly? The answer isn't that EVs are bad cars. No, the answer is way more complex, and it's rooted in a fundamental failure to understand the gritty, expensive, and brutal reality of operating these vehicles at a commercial scale. So, let's start uncovering the culprits. Our investigation begins with culprit number 1, the absolute unmitigated nightmare of repair costs. This is the point where the beautiful theory of low-cost EV ownership crashed head-on into the unforgiving reality of the rental car business, where, let's be honest, bumps and scrapes aren't an exception, they are a daily occurrence. On paper, the math looked fantastic. I mean, the entire financial model was built on this one expectation: EVs would be cheap to maintain. No oil changes, no fan belts, fewer moving parts to break. The total cost of ownership should have been lower, right? But here's the thing. Hertz wasn't dealing with routine maintenance. They were dealing with collision repair. And the reality they slammed into was that even the most minor damage resulted in astronomical, business-killing repair bills that their models had completely failed to account for. Now, what's really interesting here is that across the entire industry, EVs are already more expensive to fix. The average collision repair for an EV is over $6,000. That's 23% higher than a comparable gas-powered car. But here's the kicker. This is just the average across all brands. For Hertz and its fleet of highly advanced Teslas, the problem was much, much worse. And this is where the scale of the problem just becomes insane. Look at this. It's a real example from Hertz's experience. A renter has a minor collision, a simple 10-mile-per-hour fender bender. On a normal car, you'd expect a bill for, what, a few $1,000s. The estimate for the Tesla? Nearly $25,000. At that price, a single minor accident effectively totals the car because the repair cost is approaching the entire value of the vehicle. How can a business survive when that's the risk on every single rental? So why does a simple fender bender cost as much as a new car? Well, it pretty much boils down to one word: control. Tesla maintains an iron grip on its parts supply. Unlike for a Ford or a GM, there is no robust ecosystem of cheaper aftermarket parts or network for recycled parts from salvage yards. You buy from Tesla at Tesla's price, period. On top of that, the labor is incredibly complex. A technician can't just start wrenching on it. They have to be specially trained to de-energize the high-voltage battery system safely, and every repair requires recalibrating this complex suite of cameras and sensors. It all adds up to nearly double the mechanical labor hours to fix a crashed EV compared to a gas car. And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. This is a direct quote from Hertz's own CEO at the time, Stephen Scher. In an interview, he basically confessed that Tesla's immature parts network was a central, crippling problem. He contrasted it directly with a legacy automaker like GM, which has spent decades building a reliable, competitive, and affordable supply chain. So the crucial point is, Hertz knew they didn't just have an EV problem. They had a Tesla-specific problem with no immediate solution. Okay, so that leads us to culprit number 2, the Great Depreciation collapse. If those insane repair costs were like a constant slow drain on Hertz's finances, depreciation was the sudden earthquake that shattered the entire foundation of their business model.
To really get why this was so devastating, you have to understand this term, residual value. It's simply what a car is worth when a rental company is done with it after a couple of years and sells it into the used car market. For a company like Hertz, this is not a small detail. It is the single most important variable in their entire economic model. Their ability to make a profit literally hinges on accurately predicting what they can sell their cars for in the future.
And here's what absolutely shattered their predictions. While Hertz was battling those sky-high repair bills, Tesla started aggressively and repeatedly slashing the price of its brand new cars to boost sales and fight off competition. This had a devastating immediate effect on the used car market. I mean, think about it. Why would anyone pay top dollar for a used Tesla from Hertz when they could suddenly get a brand new one for just a little more? Overnight, the value of every single Tesla on Hertz's fleet just plummeted, and their balance sheet started bleeding value. This chart really shows the scale of that collapse. On average, a typical car might lose about 50% of its value over 5 years, and rental companies build their models around that. But just look at the Teslas. We're talking 60 to 65% value loss. That extra 10 to 15% might not sound like much, but when you multiply it by tens of thousands of cars that cost $50,000, $60,000, or $70,000 each, it becomes a multi-$100 million hole in your finances. It's an existential catastrophe.
But it wasn't just those 2 big culprits. Oh no, there was a whole host of other hidden costs and operational headaches that basically acted as accomplices in this disaster. They took a bad situation and made it exponentially worse, a true death by 1,000 cuts.
This here shows the painful ripple effect of introducing unfamiliar tech to the general public. First, you have renters who have never driven an EV. They're confused by features like regenerative braking, where the car slows down dramatically as soon as you lift off the accelerator, and they're startled by the instant silent acceleration. The result? Higher crash rates than in the rest of the fleet. So Hertz had to electronically limit the car's performance, which just annoyed customers who were paying a premium for a performance EV. And when a car did get damaged, it would be in the shop for 2 to 3 weeks waiting for parts, not the 2 to 3 days for a gas car. That's weeks of generating zero revenue, a double hit to the bottom line. And then there's the cost that quietly drains so many businesses, insurance. This number, 49%, represents the average increase in insurance costs for an EV compared to a comparable gas-powered car. 49%. Insurers see the high repair bills and the higher crash rates, and they price that risk accordingly. For a company managing a massive fleet, that is a staggering hidden expense that eats directly into any potential profit. Let's look at what that means in hard numbers. The average gas car might cost about $2,700 a year to insure. The average EV is already over $4,000. But a Tesla Model X, one of the more expensive models Hertz was operating, is nearly $5,000 a year per vehicle. When you multiply that extra $2,000 by thousands and thousands of vehicles, you can see how these costs become completely and utterly unsustainable. So when you put all the evidence together, the astronomical repair costs, the catastrophic depreciation collapse, and the 1,000 cuts from hidden operational headaches, you arrive at the final verdict. This wasn't a failure of technology. The cars worked. This was a failure of business strategy, a textbook case of what you might call operational blindness. So what is operational blindness? Well, it's getting so caught up in the big, exciting story, in this case, the EV revolution, that you ignore the crucial, boring details on the ground. It's failing to ask, hey, what does a fender bender really cost us? It's underestimating the real-world friction of charging logistics and unpredictable driver behavior. It's failing to stress test your financial models against market shocks, like a manufacturer slashing prices. And most importantly, it's making the fatal assumption that because a Tesla is a great car for an individual owner, it must automatically be a great, profitable product for a commercial fleet. Hertz proved that assumption is dangerously false.
In the end, after absorbing all this pain, Hertz was faced with a stark choice. Their own internal analysis showed that every single EV in their fleet was a bleeding asset. It would take 2 full years of continued losses on each and every car just to get to a break-even point in the distant future. Faced with that brutal math, they made the only logical choice left: dump the cars, take the massive one-time financial hit, and stop the bleeding before it got any worse.
The story doesn't end with Hertz's balance sheet, though. This massive, very public failure has sent shockwaves through the entire auto industry, from fleet managers to insurance companies to other EV manufacturers. It raises a critical question. What does this mean for the future of electric vehicles, especially in large-scale commercial fleets? Here are the crucial takeaways this very expensive lesson provides. First, the economics for a commercial fleet are fundamentally different from those for a private owner. Second, the repair and parts infrastructure for EVs, particularly from new manufacturers, is nowhere near mature enough to support large-scale commercial use at a competitive cost. Third, residual value driven by manufacturer pricing is a massive, unpredictable risk that can destroy a fleet's economics. And finally, for fleet operators who need reliability and predictability, a manufacturer's closed ecosystem for parts and repairs isn't a premium feature, it's a significant financial liability. And that brings us to our final thought. Winning the EV transition won't just be about having the best technology. It will be about solving these tough, gritty operational challenges. Hertz paid nearly $500 million to learn that lesson in the most public way imaginable. And the question it leaves for the entire industry is, who's next?